First order is election of officers. I would take a motion to continue with the officers, or I would take a motion to change them however you wish.
Al, I think that I was vice chair of the committee and may need to be removed from that as an ex officio member, but would defer to Brendan on that.
Yeah, generally speaking, the chair and vice chair should be voting members.
Congratulations, Paul. You just got promoted.
I assume that comes with a raise.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't
100% on top of the 0%.
She's moved to ex officio, I think she said. So she has.
Then somebody make a motion to. I would make a motion to replace Paul with Abby.
Second.
Vice chair. And I'll, if it's the consensus of the voting members, I'll continue as the chair.
Sounds good.
Is that the motion I understand? I'll be the chair and Paul will be the vice chair. Paul, you okay with that?
Yeah, I'll vote for you, Al.
I'm sorry?
I'll vote for you.
Okay, the slate is myself for chair and Paul for vice chair. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. So why did Abby move to ex officio? Just real quick. I mean, I don't want to, Eric, I don't want a 2-hour lecture. Is it we just named the position instead of Abby herself?
I don't know. I'm open to however you want to do it. I think that the director of ECADEC should always be on this committee. So if you want to do it that way, if Abby moves on, we could do it that way. But really, we were very happy with Abby's service, obviously, but we were trying to find ways to expand the representativeness of the community on the committees. And she really graciously offered to do the ex officio, but we didn't think beyond it much than that. So I don't know what Brendan's thoughts are, but I could see there, I'm
happy to have her because she gives good input. So, and she's out in the community.
Are we limited to the amount of committee members we can have?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, first of all, we had a motion and it was voted on. Do we have any other discussion? If not, okay.
But can I ask a quick question through the chairman?
Yes, sir.
And this may be for Brendan or the chairman, so either of you. Do we need to do anything official either at this committee or at the city commission level to formalize the ex officio seat for ECADEC's director?
I would say that the way that Mr. Brady has done the other seats and everything else, they've brought that up at the commission and done it as an ex officio and appointed them that way. If you remember right, some of the other committee members, but I agree with you, ECADEC should have a seat at the table, 100%. I guess I would suggest, Eric, that you bring that up to the commission and just have them approve the ex officio as the person from ECADEC and that person being Abby this year. And Abby, I hope you're here for a long time, but that way if next year you're not, when you go to Florida and you're there and laughing at all of us in this weather, we've got the position approved.
Brendan, do you think that's something we could accomplish with a motion at the commission table, like in a manager's report?
So yes and no. To formalize it going forward, if we want always a representative from ECADEC to forever be an ex officio member, we would need to modify the ordinance. But if we want for the current term, Abby to serve in that capacity, I don't think that's a problem to do by motion with the city commission. And just to be clear, as an ex officio member, it doesn't change. There's still 5 voting members. She just is able to attend meetings as an ex officio and speak and all of that.
So-
But if this is something we want to formalize, we would have to change the actual EDIC ordinance because it does not provide for that.
Could I make a recommendation, which would be to informally make a motion on this commission or committee for this year? And then when we do the appointments to all boards and commissions next year, we formalize it at that time as an ongoing thing so that we don't have to.
Is that a motion, Mr. Wupser?
Am I allowed to make one? I don't know that I'm allowed to make one. It's a suggestion for a motion.
It's a suggestion, yeah.
Okay, who is a voting member that'll make that motion?
I would move
Greg.
to adopt Eric's.
Okay, Greg, you moved, and Paul, can
No.
you,
Brendan.
Brendan.
Brendan, okay, second. Okay,
That we adopt that as a motion to make Abby an ex officio member for this term of the EDIC for this year, I guess.
so
Second.
Brendan made it, and Paul seconded it. If no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The minutes from July 14th. It's been so long that we've been here. The young lady over there snuck a baby in on us. I mean, that's,
Congratulations.
man, what COVID will do. So I would entertain a motion for the minutes of July 14th.
I move to approve the minutes from July 14th.
You're muted, Greg.
Greg, you're muted. Greg, you're muted.
Thanks. I'm trying to be director and also run this. Motion to approve the minutes, please.
Yeah, motion made
So
and
moved.
moved and seconded. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Okay,
Aye.
Aye.
let's go to the, first of all, Jonathan, do you want to just give, not like Eric, you want to get about, get your 15 minutes. No, you want to give us a couple minutes of who you are, where you came from, and first of all, welcome to the city of Sandusky.
Thank you, Al, and thanks everyone who's on this committee. I'll just take a brief moment to introduce myself. I came to Sandusky from the city of Euclid, where I served as the development director there for a little over 8 years. Our department there, similar to here in Sandusky, was responsible for economic development, community development, and planning and zoning. So I've gotten some experience working with businesses, and I'm thrilled to be here in Sandusky to be assisting the team here with growing our business base and assisting our businesses. Prior to being with the city of Euclid, I worked for Cuyahoga County's Department of Development, working on economic development and brownfield projects. And before that, I was at Cleveland State earning a master's degree in urban planning and development. So it's the type of work that I'm passionate about and I enjoy. And so I'm really excited to be here at the city of Sandusky. I also wanted to just take a minute to say that I really want to commend the city officials for the foresight to dedicate funding to economic development and housing development. We're real fortunate here in Sandusky to have these funds. I know we're going to get into an update on where we're at with the funds, but it's really great to come into this position and have these tools available so that we can all work together to help businesses, bring in new businesses, help existing businesses grow. So that took a lot of foresight, and I think city officials should be commended for that. And also, I know that we've got funding dedicated also for housing improvements. And in fact, the department just released the application for this year's housing beautification program. So what another great tool that we have here in Sandusky, in order to improve the community. So
Marcus, I noticed you just signed on. Welcome. Okay, Jonathan.
Thank you all. Sorry for my tardiness.
Okay. You missed the approval of the minutes and the election of officers, myself as chair and Paul Cook is the vice chair, so that's all you missed. So, and then Jonathan was in the process of introducing himself and telling us a little bit about his background.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to working with this committee and other members of the community to continue the great work that's been happening. And thank you again, everyone on the committee, for participating and for assisting in this. And if you're ready, Mr. Chairman, we can certainly.
I would say that we got program, financial update, the spreadsheet, however you wish to put it together.
Sure.
The floor is yours.
All right. And Eric, did you want to say a few words to kick us off on the financial update?
Oh, no, I can. Did you want me to say something? I can come in later, but as long as you're comfortable with it, feel free.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen then. I did put together a financial update, and this was emailed out to the committee late today, but I'll go ahead and share my screen so everyone has that here in front of them. All right, can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so let me begin by talking about the projects that we are currently committed to funding. And these should be familiar to those members of the committee that have been on for some time. We have 5 projects with current commitments. Those are listed there at the top on the left-hand side. The outstanding commitments total $234,000. We are going through a process right now to contact each of those businesses, get an update on where they're at with the project, and understand if those commitments are going to be able to change. You know, in particular, we've got a pretty large commitment to the Market Street Collective. So Greg and I will be meeting with them, I believe that's next week, to get an update on their project. In the event that we are able to reduce the city's commitment for any number of reasons, we'll certainly report that back to the committee, and that'll increase our capacity. But as it stands right now, in somewhat of a conservative report to you, we do have $234,000 of outstanding committed funds. When you look at our fund balance, we're starting the year with, we are carrying over $277,000 from last year as a fund balance. Now, I want to point out this does include up to $108,000 for marketing. We are going to be going through a process here administratively to determine if any of that marketing funding can be taken from other city resources. And the reason for that is that you'll see our 2021 allocation is somewhat limited. Our 2021 allocation is $125,000. I know that that is less than what's been allocated in previous years. You'll recall that this funding is tied to the admissions taxes, which I think everyone knows was considerably down last year. So that's the reason for that smaller amount. The carryover plus our 2021 allocation gives us total funding of just over $400,000. When we take out the 234 in outstanding commitments, we have a balance of $168,000. Now, keep in mind, up to 108 of that could be needed for marketing purposes. So really, when we look at the funding that we have available for this year to commit to new projects, we have we're looking at roughly between $60,000 and $160,000. So it is a more limited amount. That's going to really require us to be creative when we're talking with new businesses. You'll probably see us bringing projects forward at a somewhat smaller funding level, but we are going to continue to try to be very strategic with these funds and make as big of an impact as possible. And then again, to the extent that we're able to identify other city sources to fund the city's marketing efforts, or to the extent that we're able to reduce our commitments to past projects, that'll free up additional funding as well. So I do anticipate at our next meeting that we will have some applications for you to review. We have a number of great projects in the pipeline. There's still a lot of really great activity going on out there in the community, new businesses looking to come in, real estate transactions occurring. We're working hard to make those connections and do what we can to support those projects. And so I know that we'll be bringing a number of those to you here at the next meeting. And I'll look forward to your feedback and hopefully approval at that time.
You know, you say it's a small amount. Like I made my comment before, I'm just happy that we could put anything in there. Again, last July, I think we all would have been surprised we could put anything in. And I think through the hard work of Eric and Michelle with the budget, we were able to do such. And again, I agree with you. It's just a great thing for the community. And again, a little's better than nothing or getting something taken away.
That's true. Great point.
John, can I ask the 108,000 for marketing? What is that for? Outside of the general term marketing, I mean, it seems like a big number if we're passing out 125 and we're spending 108 to advertise that.
Through the chair, I can speak to that. Historically, we have set aside 50 per year for marketing and have used that for a variety of communication expenses and things like video production. I don't know how that account built up. My guess is last year's allocation was made of 50 pre-budget, and then COVID hit, and we probably froze all spending for last year. So that explains 50 of that 108. I'm not exactly sure about the additional 58 as to maybe we were only budgeting to spend 30 or 40 a year, even though we'd allocated. Just so you know, it is very likely that for this year, most or all of that will get reallocated towards economic development projects. We just haven't closed the loop on that yet. And so our goal is to put that back in transactions for this year, and then to look at how marketing for the city fits in to a broader strategy as we update our strategic plan in 2021 for 2022 and going forward.
Can we I mean, if we have 108 and we generally do 50 a year, can we shift 58 into the allocation of funds now? Not that I don't want to see a full featured film of Whoopster's life for 108,000.
It would take significantly more than 108,000 to do that, right? But
just the first 20 years.
CGI alone would be critical. But what I can say to you is this: we will make at least that much available, probably more. But the marketing piece we've never brought through this committee. It's always been just an off the top allocation. So we have a separate process. But your point is well taken, and my guess is that by the next time we meet, we'll have that money, either substantially all of it or all of it. We'll be back in the economic development piece, and then we'll look at our programming and marketing funds separately for our goals as they relate to doing both of those things, partially as part of the downtown master plan, and then partially as to just the generally speaking, the communication needs of the city, because those funds actually go into things like our annual report, the brochures we do, like for our economic development, housing programs, et cetera. So we need to keep a little bit back for those activities, but my guess is you'll be seeing all of that coming to this committee for transactions as opposed to for marketing expenses.
I think both your points are well taken. And again, as we go through the year, we're also going to, once we get a little further into the year, and when it really happens and Cedar Point can really open, I realize it's going to be at a whole different level, but Eric, you and I and the committees have had many discussions that will cure a lot of ills.
Knock on wood.
Hi, this is Jamarcus. May I ask one question? I guess this would be a rookie question. You guys got to let me have a couple until I kind of get myself settled in. So in terms of...
First of all, are you an Ohio State or Michigan fan? Whether I let you have the question.
Is that...
I'm sorry.
Is that even a question?
Yeah, because the one next to you is the other side. So.
Oh, okay. So
I am sorry, please. There's
have-
no such thing as dumb questions, just dumb people don't ask questions.
Oh,
Please.
Okay. Well, so don't get me started on that whole Ohio State Michigan thing. So,
I've only got another 10 minutes for this meeting, so.
okay. So my question is, so the admission tax, is that the money that we depend on to fund the monies in the Economic Development Fund? Or are there other sources of revenue that we depend on to, dump into that pot?
Through the chair to Jamarcus, historically, the purview of this committee has been to spend the economic development funding that the city has made available through issue 8, which is admissions tax. And so the amount that is available has always been based on the previous year's admissions tax collection. And again, historically, we've taken $50,000 off the top for marketing and then set a fund for the economic development fund, which is averaged around $500,000 a year. Unfortunately, this year, as Jonathan alluded to, and you may not have been on the call yet when he went through this, I apologize if you were, we only have about 125 because obviously Cedar Point's season last year was greatly diminished from previous years, but that is the source for this. We do have some other sources or tools that we will use from time to time for economic development purposes, potentially CDBG. We had a historic revolving loan fund that we haven't touched much of recently because of the complications of using those funds. We also have a real estate development fund that when the city sells property, that populates a specific account. And then we have tools, whether it's tax abatement or tax increment financing that we might put into projects, but those have not historically been something that we would run through this committee. That being said, I do think this committee as a guidepost could be someone that we could give overviews on what we're up to in those areas. But for purposes of your most formal role, it would be approving transactions that would tap into that admissions tax funded economic development fund.
And we all know what admission taxes were last year.
Thank you.
Anything else on the spreadsheet or questions on the spreadsheet? If not, the next meeting is March 9th. I can't believe March is here already. Someday we'll actually get to physically meet everybody and actually have a conversation in person. So again, Mr. Hampton, I appreciate your service and willing to come on to the committee, and Jonathan, welcome. So if we have nothing else.
I've never met Brendan, so I'm not sure.
I met Brendan only at a finance committee meeting, I think very shortly. And
if you passed Al's approval, you're good with me.
I'm sorry?
If you approve, then good with me. I just wondered, I assume that he is the new law director?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Brendan. Jonathan took all of your time.
I know.
I'll give you 2 minutes,
Right.
Okay? Brendan, please, why don't you give the same thing that you gave at the commission and the finance committee meeting? So, hey, go for it.
Thanks for
well, I'm happy to join you all on this committee, and I'm excited to be the city's new law director. It's been about, I think, 4 months now. So I know because we can't do much meetings in person, it's a little difficult to get to know people, but I'm excited to work with you all and serve the city. I, like Jonathan, I'm also coming from Cuyahoga County, and it's pretty exciting to work with this excellent team. And looking forward to meeting all of you, not through a virtual screen, sometime hopefully in the near future. So.
Well, again, I've welcomed you aboard, and I think we've got Eric, to your credit, we've put together, after being fractured, another great management team.
Thank you. And if I could say just a couple really quick words about.
Eric, you don't know that term.
I promise I will do my best.
Paul's over here laughing.
So, and this is as much for Jamarcus being new to the committee, but also for the larger committee itself. We have traditionally had specific programs
that we have utilized for the economic development funds from a program that is specific to investing in small businesses that are looking to grow or open in Sandusky, to including larger grants that plays in many ways like a gap real estate financing role that helps projects that might not otherwise cash flow to be able to go forward. One thing, and it is likely based on having a limited amount of funds this year, that we will look to use those limited funds on similar projects. And I think Jonathan kind of alluded, we already have several in the pipeline. But as the funding comes back, again, kind of knocking on wood, and we come out of COVID and attendance levels at Cedar Point or admissions tax dollars, which are not only paid at the gates of the park now, but also at the water parks and indoor sports center and a few other venues in town, as those numbers get back to pre-COVID levels or even grow, because we are seeing that the sports center was going to be a really good driver of certain things. We really want to have this committee be a partner to the city in evaluating what has worked in the last 5 years of these programs and any potential changes that we can make strategically. The city will be updating the bicentennial vision plan, this likely starting this summer and then ending by the end of the year, and that's the strategic plan for the city. One of the things that we hope to look at in that are both of the Issue A programs, one of which is dedicated towards economic development, which your committee helps oversee, and the other is dedicated to housing funds. For the sake of this committee, we really want to take a look back at 5 years and what we've achieved with it, and then think forward 5 years and say, okay, are there any changes that we want to make at this time that will allow us to more effectively use these funds based on the success that we've had and what we've learned in the past 5 years. So just know that we really look forward to engaging you, and that there will be time to give feedback as to not only what we fund, but how we decide what we fund and the programs that we offer to the community sometime later this year.
And hopefully someday here in the near future, we can actually get into the room and we can still socially distance and actually have a conversation. Not that we're not having a conversation now, but I think if I attend more Zoom meeting, I think I'm going to shoot the Zoom. So first of all, well said, Eric. Anything else? I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Paul moved. Can I have a second for adjournment?
Second.
Brendan, Greg?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye. First of all, thanks everybody.